Welcome back to the InboundREM YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a different type of subject. We're going to talk about the 10 business lessons from a recovering alcoholic CEO. And hey, in case you haven't guessed, I am the recovering alcoholic CEO. I have 18 years of sobriety under my belt, but before I got sober, I did a fair amount of time in jail and lost another business I owned and many, many other things. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you 10 of the top lessons that being sober and getting sober has taught me and how it impacted my business. And before I do this, you might be wondering why. I just want to say something that some of you may or may not know. There are about 5 million people that have been through the program, of 2 of which are still actively in the program. That is about 1% of the population of the US. There's a lot more people than you may know that probably apply lessons that they've learned in AA or just learned through sobriety. There's lots of different ways that people get sober. I got sober with AA. All right, so lesson number 1, business lesson number 1. What does being sober teach me? What did it? Boy, oh boy, has it ever taught me. One day at a time. Worry about today's problems. An example of this is, there was a time when I was 35, 36 and I was not yet sober and I thought my world was ending. I forecast out into my future and decided everything was hopeless. What being sober teaches you is when I wake up and I'm sober and I'm healthy, that's the day started right. It really doesn't take anything else. It simply doesn't. It takes, and then everything else that is a business goal falls into place for me personally, second, or third, or fourth, or fifth, as you'll discover on my list. Okay, but one thing that absolutely is critical from both my business's success and me is one day at a time. One last thing about this. 2015, I was working for somebody else. Now I was already sober. I was about 7 years sober, and I started to take on the occasional consulting client because I was able to tell that my current contract was winding down. And the first few contracts that I took on for SEO, which is what my primary purpose is on my business, were absolute and complete utter disasters. But you know what the funny thing was? As bad as that was, it wasn't nearly as bad as being in jail. It wasn't nearly as bad as drinking. It wasn't nearly as bad as using. It was perspective. So I took it one day at a time. And now I feel like we've got the best service in the industry. But we sure had our fair share of failures. And if I wasn't just putting one foot in front of the other, which is what sobriety taught me, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. People before personality. This is a big thing that we talk about in AA because it is so easy. So easy. People before personality. It is so simple to get caught up in that person looked at me the wrong way. They said the wrong thing to me. They did the wrong thing. This employee didn't show up on time. This employee said something bad. This employee missed a very basic thing that I've covered with them 100 times. Oh my God, it is so easy to look at people's behavior and get upset. But people, when you look at everybody from the scope of your mother, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your patient changes, your ideology changes. My assistant, she's leaning against the wall behind the camera right now. And we both struggle with a lot of different things. And sometimes she doesn't show up. But the thing is that ultimately she is a very good person who will deliver in other areas at other times. The person is different than the personality. The personality is a set of behaviors. People, you look at their qualities. You look at who they are. Do they show up for you? Do they show up for animals? Do they show up for humanity? Do they do good things? Because if they do good things the vast majority of the time, it's easy to put behind yourself some of the personality stuff that you may not like. Because personality is actually our behaviors wrapped on top of who we really are. And so let me tell you one of the secrets that I've learned running businesses in general. If you become really good at understanding what kind of person you're dealing with, personality and behavior can be worked with. The mission is more important than the money. Boy, oh boy, I could write a book on just this subject. The mission is more important than the money. Lessons, business lessons from a recovering alcoholic. Holy cow! Did I make some massive mistakes with money? Whew. I trusted the wrong people to make more money faster in previous businesses. I took on partners I shouldn't have taken on. And while those aren't necessarily, like, they had nothing to do with alcoholism, they just are basic business experience. I am an alcoholic CEO, and this is something that I learned. The mission is always more important than the money. Oh my God, the amount of mistakes that I've made under the umbrella of it should make me more money, or it makes somebody else more money, or it makes more money faster, or it makes more money this way, or makes more money that way. I've lost 3 of the 7 businesses that I've started. And if you really want to know the truth, they were all about putting money before the mission. Every single one of them. All right? The mission that you decide for your business, what is your business supposed to accomplish? Who's it supposed to help? And hopefully you've got that mission. There are a lot of you in the real estate business or other businesses that keep thinking that the only mission that you have is to make money. And boy, oh boy, is that a mistake. If you are ever in a position to help others to do something else that might be a side tangential thing on top of the money, this is where people really develop strong feelings of satisfaction around what they do. Why people would want to work with you. Why you can sometimes recruit and hire and maintain people for a fraction of what other people would be willing to pay them based on their quality and skills. I have a whole team of 25 of those people working for me right now. That is because we do try to stick to a mission. And the mission is, generally speaking, we want to change the way that realtors market. We want them to actually look at marketing as a value-added permanent house that they build. And that's not the way marketing is done. It's all lead generation and how many leads can you in funnels and all this other baloney that, yes, it's all interesting, but it's all short term. None of it is stuff that will be planting the seeds today and reaping the field tomorrow over and over, year in and year out. The mission is always more important than the money. So decide on a mission. Decide something that's important to you that helps others or impacts somebody besides yourself in a positive way. That's a mission. Okay? I also have many other submissions for InboundREM. Missions about how I want to treat people, what I would like them to get by working here, the quality of the work that we do. It all comes back to mission. Yeah. You can fix a broken strategy, but not a broken reputation. So God darn it. This one came before this one by intent, because this was a lesson that, honestly, I think that some of this does come down to having a compulsive personality. I've made every mistake in the book. Many of them have to do with how fast I rushed towards the benchmark of success. I can close people. I can sell stuff. Woohoo! That's a dangerous skill to have if you don't have ethics or morality. Like, it is a dangerous skill to be able to manipulate or force others to do what you want to do. And you can fix a broken strategy. A broken strategy would be, like, for instance, a broken strategy is hard closing every single person that uses your business. Boy, oh boy, have I done that one countless times, and it is always a bad idea, especially in today's age, because what happens in today's world is that it takes 5 seconds for your customers to get together and start talking about all the things they don't like about your service. You can fix a broken strategy. You can fix some bad language. You can fix a poor service. You can look at something that you're doing and going, I probably shouldn't do that. But what you cannot fix, what is much, much harder to repair, is when you break your reputation beyond recognition. The business that I own right now is in the real estate business, is in the real estate industry, and there are a number of real estate marketing companies that grew too fast. Many of those real estate marketing companies did not grow their customer service function along with their sales and marketing arms. They develop very bad reputations for service. Playster, Agent Image, a few others. Luxury Presence seems to be on the way there. You could fix the strategy if you caught it soon enough. You could stop selling so many things until your customer service arm was as robust as your client list. You could go through and measure all the different ways that people are communicating with you and making sure that every single interaction with those clients is a good one. And then eventually you wouldn't have to worry about a broken reputation. But if you ignore that particular advice, wow, once your reputation is gone, it's gone. Now you're just, every single person that ever sells or markets for you has a much bigger hill to climb because your reputation is dog shit. Learn from those who have done what you want to do. That's a lesson that I learned a long time ago when I was about 17, selling perfume hand-to-hand on the streets of Los Angeles. And I got to tell you, there was a guy, young man who, remember, I was 17, 18 at this time, and I was homeless. So I had a very low standard. Like if I could eat and have a floor to sleep on, that would have been a success. So the guy who was training me, he had an apartment, he had a new car, and he was doing it all by selling perfume on the street. I really looked up to him. I really, really looked up to him. And what happened from that personal relationship is that was the very first guy who took his time and he started to teach me how to sell. And it didn't stick and I didn't last long, but my lessons in learning what you want to learn from people who've done what you've done, like that started there. He was my first mentor. My second mentor really taught me everything I ever wanted to know about telephone sales, and that was Billy Halberstadt, and hopefully he'll watch this video. And my third mentor was Lenny Goldsmith, and he taught me about relationship selling and thinking big. And each one of those guys was subsequently more successful than the next because I kept upping my mentor. And I'm looking for a mentor right now who's built a really big business and done it with morality, ethics, and looking out for both the people that work there and not looking to sell out to like investors or making a quick buck. So I'm still looking for that, to do something, learn from someone who's done what you want to do. There's no more valuable lesson I could impart to you. And if you happen to be a real estate agent and you're watching this, please do yourself a favor. If you're not making enough money to be thinking that you're going to be independently wealthy at some point, you probably need to find yourself a mentor. Be honest with yourself and others. Now, this is directly related to lessons from being an alcoholic. My God. Okay? I got to tell you, in sobriety, one of the dangerous things is that you will start to feel crappy about yourself. So in the program, we talk about inventories a lot, taking a personal inventory. Part of those inventories always relates to your word and what you're saying and how you're saying it, and you check yourself. You get used to checking yourself, to saying, am I being honest? Am I being ethical? Am I being true to myself? And then thus am I being true to others? The truth does not have to be kind, necessarily. Not everybody's going to love what you have to say. You don't want to try to hurt anybody with intent, but at the same time, like honesty with yourself is an incredibly important thing. Now, here's one of the things that has absolutely staggered me. In my latest iteration as a CEO, I've got 25 employees at InboundREM, which is not even close to the biggest amount of people I've managed. I've managed close to 3,000. That was my high. So this is fairly small, okay? And I gotta say that this team is really dedicated. And I think that one of the reasons they're really dedicated is I am honest first. That's it. I'm honest with myself, and then I'm honest with everybody directly after me. We've had a pandemic. We've had a real estate slowdown. We've had some big occurrences which would have put most other businesses out of business. And my team is the same team. No differences. I have shockingly lost nobody. Crazy. I think it's because of the honesty bit. There are a lot of negatives but one thing you can count on is a straight shot from me. Take responsibility for your decisions. So when you do make decisions, let me tell you, one of the most important things to do is you own the decision. Don't make other people own it. Don't pass responsibility along for somebody else. When you make a decision, it is your decision. I'll tell you something else. Oftentimes as a CEO, you're taking responsibility for all the decisions that your subordinates make. Now that's a ridiculous business principle, to be honest with everybody. They need to take responsibility for their decisions. The idea is ultimately as the CEO, I'm responsible because in a way you are. You are responsible for letting that person be in that role and make those decisions. You're not necessarily responsible for every decision that they make because you weren't there. They didn't ask you. And I'm a hands-off leader. So my people make a lot of decisions, but they better take responsibility for their decisions. I sure as hell take responsibility for mine. When I make decisions and I make my fair share, there is, I own it. And I own it with, in the cases where it worked out, I do my best not to have any false humility. I made a good decision, I had a good result. Some of the times I've made what I thought was a good decision and it didn't have a good result. Get used to talking to both yourself and others that way. Business is no place for emotion at all. You make a decision, you think it's going to benefit the business and other people that are in it, and it doesn't. It's something that you tried that did not work, and now you know not to try it again. Pay the price. There's a lot of different business analogies. If you can wake up every single day and love what you do and walk into the office super excited to work 8 hours a day or whatever the case is, or 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, God bless you. I'm not that guy, right? I get up. Some days are hard because along with the alcoholic bit, there's neurodivergence, there's depression. I don't take meds. There's all sorts of things that go along with being me. So paying the price for me is waking up and doing disciplined activities. Paying the price is, the best analogy I have for paying the price is, when I first started InboundREM, it was brutal. It was brutal. I was working 3 jobs at one point, then I was down to 2 because I saved the money on my own. No financial backers. I'd already learned that lesson from another time. No partners, no anything. Cash money, my own. 1 client at a time, pay the price, hunted down all the original clients, either based on the backs of my reputation from running sales teams from Forza and Agent Image, or people that I knew, or people that I started to connect with on my blog. And that was another thing. I started blogging. All the original blogs, no longer do I do any of the blog posts, but all the original ones, 2-3 years worth were me. And I was doing that on top of selling and setting up the company and doing all the business licenses. So then I was also writing all the content. I was filming all the videos. I was doing all the editing. There was at times, my relationship suffered. Everything suffered at times. It was brutal. Just straight talk, brutal. But now here I stand, a person that sets their own schedule, that has 25 people working for them. Let me tell you, if you have either a dream or you have a deep enough fear of failure, or you have any number of motivators that are going to get you up in the morning and say that you want something different than what you've currently got, there will be a price to be paid. Understand it, underwrite it, get ready for it, accept it. Almost everybody that every single human ever has talked about, looked at, and gone, oh, I admire them. There's a price to be paid, whether it's waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and driving all over town 18 hours a day, every day, or whether it's 10 years of school so that they can get up and do something and make it look easy. It doesn't matter, there was a price to be paid. Now, here's the crazy thing, and oftentimes considering this entire list, really controversial. It shouldn't be, but it is. Share the reward. So let's just say that you're me. You worked the 3 jobs. You self-financed the company. You hired, attracted, and recruited the best talent that you could find. The company is starting to be successful. You have hundreds of clients. The money is coming through the door. Some at least. Maybe not as much as you would like, but some. You spent 10 years plus building your reputation, getting to the point that you are at this particular moment in time. Guess what though? You have people that are probably helping you do that. If you're running a company, you sure as heck are. If you're running a sales team, you are. Your people, if you have any accolades to share, it's your people who are giving it to you. I got to tell you that one of the things that AA teaches you all the time, and that is 100% like an alcoholic thing, is, let me tell you, you pay it forward. You pay it forward. You give it away. No, it's crazy. You give it away. 100% you give it away. All the original people that worked at my company are owners. It's not much yet, but they're owners. I gave it away. I give them as much money as I possibly can. I reward them both accolades, paying attention to them, putting their names out there when they want it, everything. Because it is on the backs of their work that I have success. It is their work, my company, my idea, my dream, my vision, but their work. So you share the reward. Last but not least, this is the golden rule. It comes again from AA, but it also comes from every other element of life. It is a guiding principle that I always use, full stop. I gotta say, it doesn't work universally as well because I like to be treated like really upfront and kind of brusquely and bluntly at times, but treat others how you want to be treated. I can't emphasize, I think the world would be a different place if we all operated this way. Online, everywhere. Treat others like you'd be treated. Do you want somebody to say something nasty about your hair? Because you took a bad picture and posted it online? Probably not. So don't do it to others. I can go on and on. Treat others like you want to be treated. Like, just put yourself in somebody else's shoes and goes, like, if somebody gives you a burger and you ordered it one way and they give it to you dramatically the wrong way, maybe you should think back to the day that like a really bad day at work where you're trying to do too many things because somebody called out. So now you're trying to handle too many orders and you really messed one up. How did you feel? Have you ever really screwed something up at work? Because I sure as heck have. Have you? Treat others like you yourself want to be treated. Please. This is a great business lesson. It's a great lesson in life. And if for some reason you happen to be like me and you've got a position of great responsibility and you're in recovery, then you already know. There for the grace of God go I. Okay, I'm not really a spiritual person, but honestly, here's the deal. My bad days have been really bad. They have been worse than 80 to 90% of you that are ever going to watch this video. So on my best day, I have no right to treat you in a substandard way. And when I get to the place where I'm trying to treat people in a substandard way, I try to be by myself because I get in bad moods a lot. So I spend a lot of time all alone, walking the dog. Well, I don't have a dog, but walking in the park that other people have dogs in. I have cats, mini cats and possums and raccoons and all sorts of other things, but no dogs. So treat others like you want to be treated. I hope that these 10 business lessons from a recovering alcoholic CEO have helped you or do help you. Leave me a comment. I will happily embrace any of these things and take it to the next level and give you more information should you want it. If you are interested in my other content, go to InboundREM.com. You can learn a lot about online marketing. You can learn more about me if you're interested.